Good morning, class. Once again, today we are going to be read one more topic, which is based on our topic. It's a business law and taxation. So here we have a topic. Let's check out what we have. We have a contract of sales of goods act. Here we are going to discuss, as we already discussed, the contract act, and I already told you that contract act includes the sales of goods act. However, the sales of goods act also do have another act. So now we are going to read the sales of goods act separately, but it does not mean the things which you already read out about regarding the contract act, it does not cover. It is already covered. If you unable to read out your previous lectures, it is totally useless to watch out this video. So I highly recommend, until unless you do not make a mind of the contract act, so please watch this first, and then we are going you are allowed to watch this video. So let's take the introduction of the sales of goods act. The sales of goods act containing to the only sale of goods, what type of whatever the goods are here, which is based on any groceries, on any dairy products, or any kind of thing which is again a part of the goods. So these all are contained in the sales of goods act, which is laid down in the year 1930. This law is enforced in the 1st of July 1930. It contains a 66 section and again applied to the entire West Pakistan. Now, the what the sales of goods define in its laws, in its definition, it says in section number 4, subsection 1, the Sales of Goods Act defines a contract of sales of a goods as a contract whereby the seller transfer or agrees to transfer the property in goods to the buyer for a fixation of price. In other words, the contract to transfer the ownership of the goods from the seller to the buyer is known to be a contract of sale. It means whenever you are going to deliver something or you are going to buy something, when you are going to transfer anything in returns, you will get the money. It is a part of the imminent sales. Okay. So as you already read the essentials of a valid contract, so same here we have a essentials of a contract of a sale. Here we have a seven type of essentials of a contract. If you are in same position, the contract, it's again the same thing which is based on the as we already read in the contract act. But here I need to be emphasize one more thing. The contract can be go for a verbal communication or in a proper written manner. Both are acceptable in the eyes of law. There is no need to be always, we are not need to be always be in written on, but we do appreciate the written format. But it does not mean if anyone made a contract with the oral communication or a verbal communication, he is going to be out of the game. um, Next point is the two parties. As we already know that we need at least two parties to be buy or sell our goods. A person is going to pay the amount and another person is going to deliver the goods. So these type of people in the sales of goods act are called the buyer and a seller. So one person cannot act as a buyer, as I already told you, and a seller becomes a person cannot buy his own goods. If I do have a mobile phone, I am not buy my mobile phone from my own. And if I go in a same situation in the vice versa. Let's take the example. Mr. Atik wants to sell his car to Mr. Bilal of rupees 4 lakh rupees. Atik is a seller and a Bilal is a buyer. A person who sells any kind of good is called the seller, and a person who is going to buy that goods against the paid amount, that's called the buyer. Transfer of property, it pertains to the transfer of the ownership of the land, because land or a property cannot move from one place to another. However, all those goods, we have a actually we have a two types of goods. Number one is a movable property and number two is the immovable property. till slide number two, sorry, till the point number two, whatsoever I discuss, it is a part of the movable things. But there are certain things which is immovable, as is simple, it is attached to earth, which we cannot be transferred from one place to another. So in that case, the ownership of the land or a piece of any kind of property transfer from one person to another person, the land or a property remain the same place in is existing manner. Number three is the goods. Section 2, subsection 7 of Sales of Goods Act 1930 says goods means every kind of movable property or other actionable claim or money are included electricity, water, gas, stocks, and shares, growing crops and grass and things attached to or forming part of the land which are agreed to be served before sale under the contract. What I already told you before. So, every movable property is regarding as soon as good. The trees, fruits, etc. Are regarded as a good because they can be separated from land. An actionable claim means a debt or a claim or a money which is a person may have against another or which can be recoverable from filing a suit. Money is not a regarding as a good. However, old coins are treated as a money. But in short, the good does not consist of the money because it has their own existence. But if I talk about the old currencies or old coins or a precious thing, which is a part of the uh, again come in the part of the good. Let's take the example. Bushra sell her mobile phone to Mr. Fake of rupees 30,000. It is a contract of sale because here the subject matter uh, of movable thing and passes the mobile from one person to another person. Price. The consideration in a contract sale must be price. When goods are sold or exchanged or other goods, the transaction is barter or is not in the contract of sale of goods. If goods are sold for partly, the goods are goods partly for if the goods are sold partly for goods and partly for money, the consideration is on sale. Laid down in section 2, subsection 10 of Sales of Goods Act. So let's take the example and try to understand the meaning of price, as you already know what the actual price is. But as far as concerned with the law, we need to be learn what the law says, what the law defines the word price. Anil sell his bags to Bilal of rupees 20,000. It is a contract of sale. As simple as the amount is mentioned over any kind of thing, it is a price. It is a label. Number seven is a sale and agreement to sale. Okay, there are two terms: is a agreement to sale and a sale. Let's read out the what are the two difference between these two things, and I'm sure it is very much easy to understand this type of thing. The term contract of sale includes both sale and an agreement to sale. When the property is in the goods is transferred from the seller to the buyer at the time of the formation of contract, the contract is called the sale. When we are under a contract of sale of transfer ownership in the goods to be transferred from the seller to buyer in future date, it is called the contract of sale. In short, in a nutshell, when any kind of sale is on spot on a real time, it is a part of the sale. If it is in not real time in future date, it is a part of the agreement to sale. Okay, now we are going to discuss the three kinds of goods. Number one, existing goods. Existing goods are of two kind. Number one is specific goods and uncertain goods. The specific goods is as simple as if I choose some thing from the specific goods, it is called part of the specific. Let's take the example. If I'm going to be a part of the utility store and there are Tetra Pak milk over there of different brand names, if I choose a company Tetra Pak, so it is a kind of specific goods which I choose among all of the other companies name. So it is a so we called it this is specific goods. And uncertain goods means, let's take an example. In a large quantity, I bought 100 bags of sugar from a vendor, and from the 100, each bag has the same quantity and a quality. So I sell any 10 of them. It is not a part of the certain good because all are in same nature. But in example number one, in certain goods, all are in different nature as per is different company name and labeling and packing. Future goods. What are the future goods? Future goods is a kind of goods which we make a deal in a some future dates. For example, if any student has a engaged with or his family members engaged with the agriculture things and that type of thing, they already knew that there are contracts in futures. They already plan to be open. Let's suppose we just close the season of the mangoes, but it is a certain thing that whosoever grow the fruits of the mangoes, they can made a part of the contract that whatsoever does any single tree, how many mangoes over there it is, I'm going to buy the same mango. So I can enter in that type of contract with the person who is a fruit farm. So it is called the future goods. Number two is number next is the contingent goods. Contingent goods is that type of good which is a precious thing or a valuable thing. Uh, Section 6 subsection 2 says the goods which are not in existence at the time of the contract of the sale are called the contingent good. In a contract of the contingent goods, the ownership does not pass to the buyer at the time of the contract like future goods. The contract is contingent goods enforceable when the event happen or on which it is performance depends. If the event does not happen, becomes the void. Uh, let's take the example to be make easy and differentiate with this future goods. In future goods, it's simple that ownership is going to transfer in some future date. But the contingent good, mostly people going to sell the product, but actually the product is not available at the custody of the seller. So it can be make that happen in some future date. In case if the event happen, it means any kind of thing happen, that is a part of the good. If it is does not happen, it is not a part of the valid contract. In example, I try to be summarize with this contingent goods as Anam agrees to sell to Munira a rare painting if she is able to purchase it from its present owner. This is a contract of the sale of the contingent goods. Now we are going to learn the destruction of goods. There are four types of destruction of goods. Let's take the one by one. Uh, Okay, here we have an effect of destruction of goods are of three kinds. Number one is perishable of goods before formation of contract. What are the perishable goods? Perishable goods. Perishable goods are those goods which is expiry is in within very limited time, or maybe 24 hours or a 6 hours on very limited time. Just take the example of the perishable goods are vegetables and fresh fruits and milk. These are the perishable goods which is expiry be happen in I guess in 12 hours or something like that. If you cannot preserve or store in a proper manner, this tape is going to be vanished immediately. So let's take the example of the perishable good. Daniel agrees to sell 100 bags of sugar coming by a ship. On arrival of the ship, it is discovered that the sugar has spoiled. The contract is void. Okay, as sugar is a kind of the perishable goods, or mostly we just experience a heavy rain in Karachi, and I want to be sale or made a contract with another person to deliver the product, but somehow in my go down the water comes from my go down inside and everything is going to be vanished. So again it is a kind of the void contract. Number two is perishable before sale but after agreement to sale. Let's take the example and try to understand the point. Number two is Tarak took a horse of 8 days on a condition that if found suitable, the bargain would complete. The horse died on third day would be without the fault any without the fault of any party. Held the contract becomes void and the seller would bear the loss. Okay, let's try to understand in more simple manner. So I prefer to read this section 8 of this sales of goods act. Section 8 says where there is an agreement of the sale specific goods, the subsequently the goods without any fault on the part of the seller or buyer perish. The contract becomes void and the parties are not liable to be performed. If one only part of the goods agreed to be sold perish, the contract becomes void. If it is indivisible, if the contract is divisible, the remaining part of the contract can be enforceable. In simple manner, I say that whenever I'm going to sell any kind of good, it is perfectly be fit or fine as per the manner. If is there any kind of fault involved in it, so it becomes a void. Perishable of future of contingent goods. Uh, a contract of a sale of a future and a contingent good is an agreement to sale. Agreement to sale means in future dates. The destruction of future and contingent goods makes the contract void. Let's take the example of point number three. Mustafa agrees to sell Ali 200 tons of potato to be grown under Raza's land, which I take the examples of the mango in previous slide. Raza Lenz sowed potatoes, but the disease attacked the crop, and he could not only deliver 10 ton. The contract was held to be void. It means the contract is for future and a contingent goods, and I have to deliver 200 bags of potatoes. Due to any reason, my rest of the crop is vanish for any kind of diseases, and I only be able to deliver few bags out of my actual quantity. So in that case, the entire contract is come to be void. Now, the fixation of price. Again, price as you already know, but let's read in more detail. Section 9, fixation of price have four following modes. Parties, obviously there are two type of parties over there. Let's take the example. Anam agrees to sell her mobile phone to Tania rupees 1 lakh rupee. Here the price of the fixation of the contract. It means again, sale of goods is act as the most important ingredient is a price. If there is no price, there is a no sale. Agreed manner. Hera agrees to buy 1,000 shares of PSO on a Raj on a certain date. It means okay. Let's take an example. Today is the 31st of October, which I'm going. This recording is happen. I enter to an contract that I'm going to buy a iPhone latest model for today's price. So it means today's price is applicable on me. Course of dealing. Amna agrees with Tina to buy 1,000 shares of SSGC in general course of dealing. The accepted price of the shares is price prevailing on the date of a contract. It is price prevailing in the stock market on the day of sale. Okay, there is a bit of difference between a point number two agreed manner and the course of dealing. In point number two, we are going to mention the specific date and grade. And in point number three, it's a glucose. It means particular day it's fixing, and as you already know that the price of the any kind of share is increasing and decreasing, but the acceptable price is always be appreciable. It does not be like the abnormal price. Number four is a reasonable price. Sahid orders Noshad to supply 100 kg of sugar to him without fixation the price. The price of the sugar is market on that day. Same thing as a reasonable price means again, if I make an order to my vendor, okay, give me 100 bags of wheat or a sugar or a rice, but I do not commit on the price. So it is already understood whatsoever price is ongoing on that particular day, any kind of price can be implemented on me. Just like if I talk about the sugar prices in market is selling from 95 to 100 rupees. So any kind of price which is between the 95 to 100, but it does not exceed 100 and does not minimum price of rupees 95. Thank you so much, class, to be a part of this session. Inshallah, we are going to be meet on our next session. Thank you so much once again.